ago, and we've been tasked at, we've got a soil moisture monitoring network of probes across Victoria that the data was sitting on an old kind of clunky website. So we needed a new space, clearer lines and more information. So that's why we've joined the extensionAUS team network here. And we hope we're doing the little group justice in adding to the platform, but we've had a bit of fun integrating our data. So yeah, welcome to our little site we've got going on here. I guess the difference between our site to every other site on the network is that we're actively pulling our data from our soil moisture probes and visualizing it here on our new platform. So when people do come to our site, they can either select the site here, which is on the little dots, and they can get more information and go to their relevant site, or they can go to the actual site itself. So I guess the interesting bit is the data. So I'll find a post, actually I might go to another one, where you'll actually see what we want to show or what we are showing. So this is what each of our sites will have information-wise. So there'll be photos and information like this growing season rainfall and soil type, which we could never do on our old website. So it's been a bonus to have that kind of information that really helps build the picture of our soil moisture probes. It also has all the data integration. Actually, this one's probably not the best one to look at because it's got no data in it. Let me find one that actually has some data so we can look at some data. How's that?
So we're still in development here, Gemma, we might add. So we're saying the site has been built.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not live yet. we haven't gone live yet. It's okay, we're all good. And hopefully this one's going to load. Here it is. Cool. So something that Boydie has done monthly for 6 years now is produce a newsletter in which he produces these speedo looking graphs here on the right. We've done that manually through an Excel spreadsheet. So the awesome thing about this new site is that this is going to happen automatically every time the data changes. So at this stage, we want to pull the data probably every hour, but it could update every minute if that was relevant, which isn't really. So the best bit about this is the speedo is the #1 thing our newsletter subscribers say they go to the newsletter for. It's the thing that they really want, and now we can give it to them all the time, 24/7, 365 days of the year, which is pretty cool. This has also given us an opportunity to create graphs that we haven't been able to put in our newsletter before. So this one on the left-hand side here is the percentages of moisture in each 10 centimetre level of our soil moisture probe. This is something that we've, I guess, looked at in the back end. Dale Gray's looked at this quite a bit for his fast break newsletters, but something we've probably just done internally and never shown anyone. This Normanville site's really quite cool or quite interesting because even the farmers noticed that they've had this dry bit in the middle for the last 2 seasons. They did have lentils in last year, so that kind of makes sense that the rooting depth of lentils isn't as large as other cereals or canola. But it also was interesting to see that connection never happened between the top and the bottom, even for rainfall penetration last year. So even when they got, I think, a 20 mil rain event, it never actually reached that bottom bit. So that most of that water down there at 190 centimetres has still been there from 2018. So that's quite cool. Adds to the information we can provide our newsletter subscribers and anyone else who comes to the site. This isn't quite formatted the way we want it just yet. There is also going to be here on the right a new little graph. Well, actually, it's not new. It's a bar graph that Dale Gray has produced for the fast break for numerous years, but we're now going to automate it a little bit and adds to the information that this site can tell, the story it can tell about each site. So I'll show you that in a minute, but I'll just show that all the data feeds about, you know, the some soil moisture and each level of our 10 centimetres along our probe, it all comes through, as well as our rainfall. I like this little table because it reminds me of the 2-page lift out of the weekly times that you get at the start of the year, and you go and write your numbers in. So that's quite cool, and it also adds to the information. And we've also got soil temperature information, really relevant to our pasture.
Jemma, we just lost Jemma. I think we've gone to a different screen. Is that right, or you just?
I think I might have got kicked out as a presenter.
No, I don't think so. Perhaps.
Yeah, you've gone back to a
Yeah, that's not my screen.
Yeah.
I just think I've just stolen it off someone. I don't know what happened there.
no, you're back on now.
I'm back on now. Yeah, I don't know whose screen that was before, but that's okay. Hopefully nobody had anything interesting on the screen. So soil temperature is, I guess we've, in the past, these soil moisture probes have mainly been for the cropping, broadacre cropping sense, but in the last few years, we've added ones in pasture areas. And this soil temperature information is really relevant to pasture growth. This information here about particle size assessments, we have a lot of this background soil information, especially from our cropping probes. Some of these probes have been in 10 years in the cropping areas. So we've never been able to show this further information ever before in the same spot as the data. So the new site really gives us that opportunity, and also some historical rotation information. Probably the last thing I will show, Gavin, before I hand over and anybody can ask questions, is I'll just show you that seasonal outlook graph bar graph that'll sit on the page. So this is just another visualization of the fast break table that Dale Gray puts in the fast break newsletter. Happy to share the subscribe link for that if anybody wants to make sure they're on any of the newsletters. But yeah, just some more information to set the scene and tell the story, I guess, about soil moisture for the year, or the season, I should say. Happy to answer any questions. What if I go here? You'll see some of our awesome faces. But yeah, if anyone has questions or is interested in how we integrated the data, we're happy to talk about that and show people.
Thanks, Jemma. And I think it's a fantastic innovation for extensionAUS to see this sort of thing happen. So a lot of this is plug-in driven, and it's a collaboration that the soil moisture team, led by Dale, has brought into extensionAUS, and then worked with Dennis and our developers to make it happen here in an integrated fashion. Dale, anybody want to add comments? So Megan's added a comment. They like the Speedo approach, clear and engaging, which it is. Dale, anything to add, or even about the process that we've been through?
The only thing to add is probably with that pop-up, when you click on an icon of the site from the map of Victoria, there's just a few little additional bits of information that we'll look to add to that, but that'll be just, I guess it'll give a descriptor but not go over the top. So it'll just give some rainfall totals to 9 AM, the soil temperature as well, and the crop type of the pasture that's actually been grown. So I reckon that pop-up will provide, a pretty good small little snapshot, and then we'll have a hyperlink that will take you directly to the, the full details of the site. So I just like the capacity to get a quick little snapshot, or get more detail with a simple click of the button on your mouse. And probably there's in the past we've had login and password requirements. This is all just going to be nice and freely accessible.
definitely increase in user experience, which we didn't have at all last time on the last website.
Fabulous. And
We're probably looking forward to getting some analytics as well, which we've never had in the past. So, you know, we've got no idea what they'll look like, but yeah, we're very interested to, you know, even just find out what are the main interests, site interests with the industries of, grains, meat and wool, and dairy. Yeah.